Dear child, finding God's magic the moment you look into your soulmate's eyes. The moment you finally look into the eyes of the one your soul recognizes, something within you becomes still in a way you cannot explain. It is not loud. It is not dramatic in the way movies try to show it. Instead, it feels like a quiet miracle unfolding inside your heart. In that single glance, time seems to soften, your thoughts slow down, and a gentle warmth spreads through your spirit as if heaven itself has whispered your name. Many people search their entire lives for signs of God's presence, yet they do not realize that sometimes God reveals His most beautiful work through a human connection that carries peace instead of confusion, clarity instead of fear, and recognition instead of doubt. The moment you look into your soulmate's eyes, you may suddenly understand why every past chapter of your life unfolded the way it did. Every delay, every heartbreak, every lonely night, and every moment when you wondered if love would ever find you was quietly guiding you toward this sacred meeting. And the strange thing is that when this moment happens, it does not feel like meeting someone new. It feels like remembering someone your soul has always known. My beloved child, if you have ever wondered how God's magic truly appears in ordinary life, listen closely to this message because sometimes the miracle is not thunder or lightning from the sky. Sometimes the miracle is simply the peace that enters your heart when two souls finally recognize each other under the gentle guidance of heaven. Before we continue, if this message is touching your heart right now, you are warmly invited to comment, Amen. I receive this message, as a way of expressing your faith and agreement with the encouragement being shared here. You may also like this video if you appreciate faith-based messages that remind you of hope, love, and divine timing. And if you wish to continue receiving uplifting spiritual reflections like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on the notification bell so you do not miss future messages. Some viewers also choose to support the channel through super thanks as a voluntary act of appreciation if a message deeply moves them. Please remember that this support is never required, never pressured, and never connected to receiving blessings, miracles, or spiritual outcomes. It is simply a kind gesture for those who wish to express gratitude for the content. As you continue listening, allow your heart to relax and receive this message with peace. Because the story of how God prepares two souls to meet is far deeper and more beautiful than most people realize. Many times, when people imagine meeting their soulmate, they think of excitement and romance alone. But the truth is that God's magic often appears first as calm recognition. It feels like finally arriving somewhere your heart has been traveling toward for years. You might notice that when you look into that person's eyes, there is no need to pretend, no need to perform, and no need to hide who you truly are. Your spirit feels safe. Your thoughts become quiet. And suddenly you understand that love guided by God does not create chaos, it creates peace. Dear child, this is one of the most powerful signs that a connection carries divine grace. When a bond is meant to grow under heaven's blessing, it does not rush you into confusion. Instead, it gently invites your soul to breathe, to trust, and to feel seen in a way that feels both new and strangely familiar. Some people spend years searching for validation, hoping someone will finally understand their heart. Yet when the right person appears, the understanding is immediate and natural. It is not forced. It is not demanded. It simply flows like a quiet river that has always been waiting beneath the surface. If this message has reached you today, my child, there may be a reason. Perhaps your heart has been wondering whether true love guided by God still exists in this world. Perhaps you have faced moments when you questioned whether anyone could truly see the depth of your spirit. But heaven often prepares these encounters long before they happen. Long before two people meet, their paths begin slowly moving closer together in ways they cannot see. The places they go, the experiences they face, and even the lessons they must learn all become part of a quiet preparation written by God's wisdom. That is why when the moment of recognition finally arrives, it feels different from ordinary attraction. It feels meaningful, almost sacred, as if your heart is witnessing something it has been waiting for without even knowing it. You may notice that when your eyes meet, there is a sense of calm understanding that words cannot fully explain. It is as though both souls silently acknowledge a connection that was never created in that moment but revealed in that moment. My beloved child, do not be afraid of this feeling when it comes. Some people become nervous when they experience such deep recognition because it touches parts of the heart they once protected. Yet the love guided by God does not demand perfection from you. It invites honesty. It invites healing. And most importantly, it invites you to become more fully yourself. This is part of the magic heaven places within a soulmate connection. When two hearts meet under divine timing, they do not simply admire each other from a distance. They awaken something within each other. They remind each other of forgotten dreams, lost courage, and the quiet strength that still lives inside the soul. And sometimes the very first moment of looking into each other's eyes carries a message that only the heart can understand. Listen carefully, my child, because this is where many people misunderstand the beauty of divine connection. The magic is not only in the meeting itself. The magic is also in how your spirit begins to grow after that moment. When the right person enters your life, you begin to notice subtle changes within yourself. You feel inspired to become kinder, more patient, more courageous. You feel a gentle desire to protect the peace that this connection brings into your life. That is because God's magic within love is not meant to weaken your spirit. It is meant to strengthen it. True soulmate connections guided by heaven encourage both hearts to rise, to heal, and to walk forward together with dignity and faith. Dear child, as you continue listening, remember that divine timing works in ways the human mind cannot always predict. Some souls meet early in life, while others meet after long seasons of growth and learning. But whenever the meeting happens, the eyes often reveal what the heart has been waiting to discover. In that quiet gaze, two souls recognize that they are not walking through this world alone. And in that recognition, God's gentle magic becomes visible in the most human and beautiful way. Dear child, when two souls finally stand close enough to look into each other's eyes, something extraordinary begins to unfold within the quiet spaces of the heart. It is not a loud declaration. It is not something the world around you may immediately understand. Instead, it is a sacred stillness that gently settles over your spirit, like a calm sunrise after a long night. In that moment, you may feel as though your soul has recognized a familiar light it has been searching for across time. The strange beauty of this experience is that words often become unnecessary. Your heart begins to understand something deeper than language, something that cannot be explained through logic alone. It feels as if God Himself has quietly woven two stories together long before either person realized what was happening. When you look into the eyes of the one who carries this divine connection with you, there is often a feeling of peace that cannot be forced or imitated. Your spirit senses safety, warmth, and recognition at the same time. It is not simply attraction. It is a deeper awareness that the presence before you carries a gentle harmony with your own soul. My beloved child, many people spend years believing love must always feel uncertain or complicated. They are taught that confusion, emotional storms, and constant questioning are normal parts of connection. Yet the love guided by God often feels different. It brings clarity where there was once doubt. It brings calm where there was once restlessness. When heaven prepares two hearts to meet, the encounter does not feel like a battle for attention or validation. It feels like an arrival, like two travelers who unknowingly followed the same path until they finally reached the same destination. Dear child, this does not mean the journey toward such a meeting is always easy. In fact, many souls walk through seasons of loneliness and growth before they are ready to recognize the magic that God places within a soulmate connection. There are lessons that shape the heart, wounds that must slowly heal, and wisdom that must quietly form within a person's spirit. Without those experiences, the depth of divine love might go unnoticed or misunderstood. But when the time is right, when the heart has learned patience and the spirit has grown stronger, God often reveals a connection that feels both gentle and powerful at the same time. If this message has reached you today, my child, there may be a reason your heart needed to hear these words. Perhaps you have wondered why certain relationships in the past did not last. Perhaps you questioned whether your soul would ever encounter someone who truly understands the quiet language of your heart. Yet sometimes what feels like delay is actually preparation. Heaven often protects you from connections that would not nurture your spirit. Instead, it guides you slowly toward the person who will recognize your true essence without needing explanation. When that moment finally arrives, you may notice something remarkable in the way your eyes meet. There is a softness there, a sense of familiarity that feels almost timeless. Your thoughts may pause for a moment as your heart absorbs the quiet realization that something meaningful is happening. The world around you continues moving, yet within your spirit a gentle awareness begins to awaken. My beloved child, this is one of the ways God allows His magic to be felt through human connection. It is not dramatic in the way people sometimes expect miracles to appear. Instead, it is deeply personal and profoundly peaceful. You begin to feel seen not only for who you appear to be on the outside, but for the truth of who you are within. The fears you once carried about being misunderstood slowly begin to dissolve. The loneliness that once visited your heart begins to fade into the background. In its place grows a quiet confidence that perhaps your soul has finally encountered someone who walks with the same light of purpose and sincerity. Listen carefully, my child, because this moment is not only about romance. It is about recognition between two spirits that have been guided by the same divine wisdom. When such a meeting happens, it often inspires both people to become better versions of themselves. The presence of the other person encourages kindness, patience, and courage. You begin to feel motivated to grow, to heal old wounds, and to embrace life with renewed hope. This is the deeper magic that God places within a soulmate connection. It is not meant to distract you from your path. Instead, it strengthens your journey and reminds you that love and purpose can walk side by side. Dear child, you may notice that when you look into your soulmate's eyes, there is an honesty that feels refreshing and rare. There is no need to hide your thoughts or protect every emotion behind a wall of caution. Your spirit senses that this connection values truth and sincerity. And because of this, your heart begins to relax in ways it has not experienced before. The world often encourages people to build barriers around their feelings, yet divine connections invite openness and trust. Slowly, gently, two hearts learn to walk beside each other with mutual respect and understanding. My beloved child, do not be surprised if this recognition also brings moments of reflection within your soul. Sometimes when the right person appears, it causes you to look at your life with new clarity. You may begin to notice the lessons you have learned along the way, the strength you developed through past challenges, and the ways God quietly protected you even when you could not see it. All those moments, even the difficult ones, were shaping your spirit for the beautiful encounter that was waiting ahead. When your eyes meet the one who carries this divine harmony with you, it is as if your heart suddenly understands the purpose behind the path you walked. Do not be afraid, my child, if this realization feels overwhelming at first. Deep connections often awaken emotions that have been resting quietly within the soul for a long time. Yet remember that love guided by heaven is patient and kind. It does not rush you or demand perfection. It allows both hearts to grow naturally, learning to support and uplift one another with gentle understanding. This is why the magic of a soulmate connection is not limited to the first glance alone. The magic continues to unfold as two people walk forward together with humility, compassion, and faith. Dear child, there is also a quiet mystery within the way souls recognize each other. Science may describe attraction through chemistry, and the mind may search for logical explanations. But the heart often senses something deeper that cannot easily be measured or explained. When your gaze meets the eyes of the one meant to share your journey, there may be a silent message that passes between your spirits. It is a message of familiarity, belonging, and calm reassurance. In that brief moment, it can feel as though heaven has gently lifted a veil, allowing two hearts to recognize the bond that was always waiting beneath the surface. If this message has reached you today, my child, take a moment to breathe and reflect on the quiet beauty of divine timing. Not every meaningful connection arrives when we expect it. Some appear when the heart has almost stopped searching. Others appear after seasons of patience and personal growth. Yet whenever the moment arrives, it carries a sense of purpose that feels unmistakable. The eyes reveal it first. The soul understands it next. And slowly, gently, the heart begins to trust that God's magic has been present all along, guiding two lives toward the same sacred meeting point. My beloved child, as you continue walking your path, remember that true love guided by heaven does not diminish your spirit. It strengthens it. It encourages you to grow, to heal, and to shine with the kindness and authenticity that God placed within you from the very beginning. And when the moment comes that your eyes meet the one whose soul recognizes yours, you will understand something beautiful and simple at the same time. God's magic was never far away. It was quietly waiting in the meeting of two hearts prepared by patience, faith, and divine timing. Dear child, when a connection is truly touched by the quiet grace of heaven, the story does not end with the first glance into your soulmate's eyes. In many ways, that sacred moment is only the beginning of a deeper journey that slowly unfolds between two hearts. After the first recognition, after the gentle stillness that settles within your spirit, something even more meaningful begins to grow. It is the gradual realization that this person does not only see you, but understands the silent language of your soul. In everyday moments, in simple conversations, in shared silence, you begin to notice how naturally your energies move together. There is no constant struggle to prove your worth. There is no exhausting need to perform a version of yourself just to be accepted. Instead, there is a peaceful rhythm that forms between your hearts, like two melodies that were always meant to harmonize. My beloved child, this harmony is one of the greatest gifts God places inside a soulmate connection. It is not about perfection. It is about alignment. Two imperfect people walking forward with sincerity, compassion, and a shared desire to grow into better versions of themselves. When love carries divine guidance, it does not trap you in fear or insecurity. Instead, it gently encourages you to expand your heart, to strengthen your faith, and to discover parts of your spirit that may have been hidden for many years. You begin to feel inspired again. Dreams that once seemed distant begin to feel possible. Courage quietly returns to your heart because you know you are no longer facing the world alone. Dear child, sometimes the most powerful sign of God's magic within a soulmate connection is the way your spirit feels at peace simply by being near that person. Even when life presents challenges, even when responsibilities and worries appear, there remains a quiet assurance within your heart that you have found someone who truly stands beside you. The presence of this connection becomes a place of emotional rest, a sanctuary where honesty and understanding can grow without judgment. And it is within this peaceful space that love begins to deepen in ways that cannot be rushed or forced. My beloved child, if you have ever wondered why the eyes carry such powerful meaning in these moments, the answer lies within the truth that the eyes reveal what words often hide. When two souls look into each other's eyes with sincerity, there is nowhere for pretenses to hide. The heart becomes visible through the gaze. Kindness, vulnerability, hope, and trust all shine through in ways that are impossible to imitate. This is why the first moment of eye contact between soulmates often feels so powerful. It is a silent exchange where two spirits recognize each other beyond surface appearances. It is as if both hearts are quietly saying, "I see you. I understand you. I welcome the truth of who you are." Listen carefully, my child, because not everyone will understand this kind of connection. Some people may see only the ordinary surface of the relationship and assume it is no different from any other bond. But those who have experienced the quiet depth of a soulmate meeting know that something far more meaningful is taking place beneath the visible world. There is a spiritual harmony that exists between two hearts guided by divine timing. It is not loud, yet it is powerful. It does not demand attention, yet it transforms lives in gentle and lasting ways. When God allows two such souls to meet, He often does so with wisdom that reaches far beyond what the human mind can fully comprehend. Dear child, as the journey continues, you may notice that the connection encourages both of you to grow in ways you never expected. Sometimes this growth appears through joyful moments, shared laughter, and dreams that begin to take shape together. Other times it appears through challenges that require patience, forgiveness, and deeper understanding. But even during these difficult moments, the bond remains anchored in mutual respect and compassion. Instead of pushing each other away, two hearts guided by divine love learn how to support one another with humility and grace. My beloved child, this is the true magic that God places within a soulmate connection. It is not only the beauty of the first meeting, but the strength that grows afterward. The relationship becomes a place where healing can happen. Wounds from the past begin to soften. Doubts that once filled the mind slowly lose their power. And through the presence of sincere love, both people discover that they are capable of becoming more patient, more understanding, and more courageous than they ever believed. If this message has reached you today, my child, perhaps your heart has been waiting for reassurance that such connections still exist in this world. Perhaps you have wondered whether genuine love guided by faith can still be found among the noise and distractions of modern life. The answer is yes, though it often appears in quiet and unexpected ways. God's magic rarely arrives with grand announcements. Instead, it reveals itself through moments of recognition, through shared kindness, and through the gentle understanding that grows between two souls willing to walk their path with honesty. Dear child, remember that divine love is not meant to take away your individuality or silence your unique spirit. A true soulmate connection respects who you are while encouraging you to grow into your fullest potential. When two hearts meet under God's guidance, they do not compete with one another. They uplift each other. They celebrate each other's strengths and support each other's healing. And through this shared journey, both people discover a deeper sense of purpose and belonging. My beloved child, there may come moments when you pause and reflect on the incredible path that led you to this connection. You may remember the times when you felt lost or uncertain about the future. You may recall the prayers you whispered in quiet moments, hoping for clarity, companionship, and peace. And when you look into your soulmate's eyes again, perhaps during a simple conversation or a quiet evening together, you may suddenly realize that many of those prayers were answered in ways you could never have predicted. Do not be afraid, my child, to trust the peace that this realization brings. God's guidance does not always reveal the entire path at once. Instead, it unfolds step by step, allowing your heart to grow stronger and wiser along the way. When you trust this process, you begin to see that every experience in your life carried meaning, even the ones that once seemed painful or confusing. Each chapter prepared your spirit to recognize the beauty of the moment when your eyes finally met the one who shares your divine harmony. Dear child, as time moves forward, the magic within this connection continues to evolve. It appears in small gestures of kindness, in supportive words during difficult days, and in the quiet comfort of knowing someone truly understands the depth of your heart. These simple moments may seem ordinary to the outside world, yet within them lives the extraordinary presence of love shaped by patience and faith. And every time you look into your soulmate's eyes again, you may notice that the same gentle recognition still exists there, reminding you that something sacred brought your lives together. My beloved child, this is the beauty of God's magic revealed through human connection. It does not fade with time when nurtured with sincerity. Instead, it grows stronger, deeper, and more meaningful as two hearts continue walking forward with trust and gratitude. And when you remember the very first moment your eyes met, you may realize that what you felt then was not simply emotion or chance. It was the quiet beginning of a love story written with wisdom far greater than your own, guided by the gentle hand of divine timing. Dear child, as this journey of understanding comes gently toward its closing moment, there is one truth your heart should carry with quiet confidence. The magic you felt when you first looked into your soulmate's eyes was never an illusion, and it was never something ordinary. It was a glimpse of how beautifully God can weave two lives together when the timing is right and the hearts are ready. That single moment of recognition was not only about romance or emotion. It was a reminder that even in a world filled with uncertainty, divine love still finds ways to reveal itself in the most human and tender ways. My beloved child, the miracle of such a connection is not only found in the first glance, but in every peaceful moment that follows. It lives in the way two souls continue to understand each other without needing constant explanations. It appears in the patience you offer each other during difficult days and in the gratitude you feel during joyful ones. Over time you begin to realize that the magic you once felt in a single gaze has quietly become a steady light guiding both of your paths forward. This is how God often works within love. Not through loud displays or fleeting excitement, but through a calm and enduring presence that strengthens two hearts as they walk through life side by side. Dear child, many people search the world hoping to find proof that divine guidance still touches human lives. Yet sometimes the evidence of that guidance is simply the peace that grows when two souls meet at the right moment. When you look into the eyes of the one meant to share your journey, you may feel a quiet certainty that cannot easily be explained. It is the gentle assurance that your heart is no longer wandering without direction. Instead, it has discovered a companion whose spirit resonates with your own in ways that feel both grounding and uplifting. Listen carefully, my child, because this realization carries a message far deeper than romance alone. It reminds you that God never forgot the desires placed within your heart. Even during seasons when you felt alone or uncertain, divine wisdom was still shaping your path, preparing your spirit, and guiding another soul along a parallel journey that would eventually meet yours. What seemed like coincidence was often quiet orchestration. What seemed like delay was often protection. And what seemed like ordinary life was slowly becoming the road that would lead to that unforgettable moment when your eyes finally met. My beloved child, when you reflect on that moment now, you may understand why it felt so powerful and peaceful at the same time. It was not simply about seeing another person. It was about recognizing a presence that brought calm to your spirit and warmth to your heart. In that gaze you glimpsed something rare in this world, a love that carries kindness, patience, and sincerity. And as long as both hearts continue to nurture that love with humility and care, the magic that began in that single glance will continue to grow quietly stronger with every passing day. Dear child, remember this truth as you move forward. God's magic is not distant or unreachable. Sometimes it appears in the most personal and beautiful way possible, through the meeting of two souls whose paths were gently guided toward each other all along. And every time you look again into your soulmate's eyes, let your heart remember the simple miracle hidden in that moment. It is the quiet reminder that divine love still lives, still guides, and still shines through the hearts that are willing to recognize it. Type Amen.